Hi, my name is Zayna Llewellyn, and in this video I will walk you through a full body open chain mobility sequence. Open chain mobility simply means that we're moving our body through space versus having a part of us fixed to an object or the floor. So this entire sequence will be done standing. There will be some single leg standing balance exercises in this video, so if you need assistance with balance, make sure that you have a chair, a table, a wall handy that you can use. This is the extended version. It runs about 40 minutes. If you would like a shortened version, I have that available for you on my page. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Begin in a standing position. Feel both feet firmly rooted beneath you. Spread your toes wide. And put a slight bend in the knees. Arms are resting the sides of the body, and spine is tall and long. We'll begin with a few cleansing breaths. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and gently inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, sipping air in through the nose and letting it out through the mouth. And last time, filling up the lungs with air and releasing all that air through an open mouth. For this mobility video, we'll start at the neck and work our way down the body from there. So bring both hands to the breastbone and press down gently. As your hands pin the tissue, slowly look up towards the ceiling, feeling a nice stretch on the front of the neck. Bring the head back to a neutral position and go again, securing the tissue on the breastbone with your hands and extending the head back to feel a nice stretch on the front of the neck. Repeat this several times. As you move through the movement, you can experiment with tilting and rotating the head left and right, experiencing that stretch in different areas of the neck. This is an important area of the body because this is where the lymphatic system puts fluid back into circulation. Making sure this area is open and flowing will help the whole lymphatic system function better. Keeping your hands on your breastbone, tilt the chin towards the chest and look down. Then tilt the chin back up. Alternate between these movements about 10 times. Chin down to the chest and up towards the ceiling. Nice, slow, controlled movement. Then move into lateral tilts, where the head moves from side to side. Rather than just dropping the ear towards the shoulder, though, think about lifting the top ear towards the ceiling. This will give you more of a feeling of stretch on the elongated side, and bring a little more oomph to the movement. Continue with these lateral tilts for a few more repetitions. With each rep, notice if you can move a little bit more freely. Then bring the head back into a neutral position. Now, slide the whole head forward, as if sliding your chin across the countertop. Then pull the head all the way back, making a double chin. And slide the neck forward, as if across the countertop. Then pull the head way back, making a double chin. Continue with this movement. The vertebrae in our neck need to be able to slide, tilt, and rotate respective to one another. These exercises are helping to build communication between structures of the neck. Bring the head back into a neutral position. Next, slide the whole head left to right as if there's a pole going through your ears. If this feels too difficult, you can move your head more at an angle, as if aiming for two corners of a room. Only go to the point of tension, but never of pain. If you hear little snaps, crackles, and pops, that's okay. It means we're helping to move stuck tissue in the neck. Bring the head back to a neutral position. Our final neck mobility is a figure 8. Start by looking over the left shoulder. Then drop the chin down to the shoulder, the ear down to the shoulder, and look up towards the right at a diagonal. Now look over the right shoulder. Then drop the chin to the shoulder, ear to the shoulder, then look up at a diagonal left. And repeat. Look over the left shoulder, chin down, ear down, look up. Look over the right shoulder, chin down, ear down, look up. Left, chin down, ear down, look up. Right, chin down, ear down, look up. Left, chin down, ear down, look up. Right, chin down, ear down, look up. Continue on your own for about 5 more repetitions. As you get more comfortable, start to make the movement more connected and fluid, as if moving through water. Continue breathing through the nose if you can. Finish up your 8 and bring the head back to a neutral position. Great job! We are now done with the neck. Next, we will work with the shoulders and arms. Start by gently bouncing up and down, letting the arms fall loosely by your sides. As you bounce, notice how each arm feels and how they feel relative to one another. Then slowly slow down the bouncing and return to a neutral standing position with a tall spine and broad shoulders, palms facing forward. Slowly lift the shoulders as far as they will go towards the ears. Lift up and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then drop both arms at once, letting them fall loosely. Again, lift up and squeeze tight, 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 maybe even making the hands into fists if that feels good. And then release everything at once, drop the shoulders, and uncurl the hands. Last time, lift up and squeeze. And drop the shoulders down, releasing all the tension. Lift both hands in front of you to shoulder height, palms facing in. Pull the arm bones back, plugging them into their sockets. Without over-rounding the back, slide the hands and arms forward, aiming to make your arms a little bit longer. Then pull both shoulders up towards the ears. Then pull the shoulders back into retraction and down into scapular depression and reset. Arms are parallel with palms facing forward, with arm bones plugged into their socket. Slide the hands forward by wrapping the shoulder blade around the ribs, not by rounding the back. Then pull both shoulders up towards the ears, then back, then down. 3 more times. Plug the arm bones in, slide them forward, lift shoulders to the ears, pull back and down. 2 more times on your own, visualizing the scapula moving around the rib cage, bringing heat, circulation, and vitality to this area. Relax the arms down by the sides. Next, we will move into a basic arm circle. We will go one arm at a time to build awareness. Place your right hand on your left chest in line with the pec muscles. Lift the spine and find your center. With left palm starting face to your thigh, start to lift your arm as high as you can overhead. When your arm gets as high as it will go, flip the hand to face away from you and finish the circle with the arm sweeping behind you. As you complete the circle, the palm will naturally spin to face your thigh again, and we reset. Continue with these arm circles for 9 more repetitions. Remember to change which way the arm is facing. And of course, always move to the point of tension, but never of pain. If these arm circles bother your shoulder and make it hurt, feel free to skip them or move into a smaller range that is less bothersome. Let the hand resting on your chest assist in awareness and bring added heat to the muscle. You can experiment with engaging pressure into that hand on your chest and see how that affects the experience of the arm circles. Now bring both arms down by your side and notice how you feel. Place your left hand on your right chest, in line with the pec muscles. Lift the spine and find your center. With palm starting face to your thigh, start to lift your arm forward as high as you can above your head. When your arm gets as high as it will go, flip the hand to face away from you. Then finish the circle with arms sweeping behind you. As you complete the circle, the palm will naturally spin to face your thigh again. And we reset. Continue this movement for 9 more repetitions. Don't swing the arm or use momentum. Make sure it's a smooth, controlled motion from start to finish. You may notice a difference between sides. If you need to adjust differently on this side, please feel free to do so. These movements help to bring more nutritious fluid into the joint, increase blood, lymph, and energy flow, and is a simple way to help keep things moving in your body. Now we'll do the same thing in the opposite direction, switching sides. So bring your right hand back to your left chest. Starting with left hand down by your side, rotate the palm to face away from the body. Sweep the arm behind you. As the hand moves above head, the palm will naturally spin to face the midline and complete the circle. Continue this forward arm circle movement for 9 more repetitions. Rest the left arm by your side and switch. Bring the left hand to the right chest in line with the pec muscle and right arm down by your side. Flip the palm to face away from you and reach back, starting a forward circle. As your arm reaches above you, the hand will naturally face to flip the opposite direction with palm facing towards you as you finish the circle forward. Continue for 10 repetitions total. Now we will do figure 8s for the shoulders. It's a mixture of the 2 circles we just did. These ones are a little tricky, so if it takes you a few repetitions to get the movement, that's okay. Keep trying. We start with the same circular movement we were doing on the left arm. Forward, above the head, and back. When you get to the bottom of the circle, continue across the body to make a figure 8, drawing a circle on the right side from front to back. Continue up across the body to make another circle on the left side. Pretend you are in a narrow hallway painting circles on both walls. Then switch directions. This time the circle on your left side will start by going backwards. Follow that into a figure 8 to make a circle from back to front on the right side, cutting across the body, and making a circle from back to front on the left. Continue with this for 4 more repetitions. Then do the same on the other side. The right arm reaches forward, up, and back. Then, when you get to the bottom of the circle, continue across the body to make a figure 8, drawing a circle on the left side from front to back. Continue that circle up across the body to make another circle on the right side, pretending you're in a narrow hallway, painting circles on both walls. Remember to breathe smoothly and softly. Then switch directions. This time, the circle on your right side will start by going backwards, following that into a figure 8, making a circle on the left side from front to back. Continue this for 4 more repetitions. Great job. Rest your arms by your sides for a moment and take a few breaths. Notice how your shoulders feel. Next, we will work with the elbows. Make your hands into loose fists and extend the arms forward. Start to rotate the shoulders in, bringing the fists to chest, then in circles to your shoulders, and returning all the way back to the starting position. You will need to rotate your hands so that the palms face down before restarting the movement. Again, fists come to chest as elbows reach out. Then do your best to complete the circle, palm facing up at the end of the movement. Rotate the fist down and continue this movement 8 more times in this direction. Feel the bones of the forearm rotating against one another as you move through these elbow circles. Every time we bend and straighten the elbows, we are helping to pump fluid through this area. Elbows are an often overlooked area, but they can be greatly affected by and even be the source of pain for things in the shoulder and wrist. So move those elbows and make sure that there is a smooth line of communication and flow from your torso to your hands. After 10 repetitions, we'll switch directions. Loose fists start facing down, extended in front of you. The first thing you do is rotate the fist to face up. Then move in a circle out so that they come to the shoulders, then to the chest, and complete the circle. The fist will naturally rotate back down as the shoulders rotate in. Start again by rotating the fist to face up, circle out to meet the shoulders, then continue the circle towards midline as palms rotate to face down. Continue with 8 more repetitions. Feeling this natural pumping action and allowing for more blood and lymph and energy to flow through this area. Notice if it's easier to move in one direction than the other. Now pull elbows and upper arms close to the body. Elbows at a 90-degree angle with hands still in a loose fist, palms facing down. Slowly move your fists up and down, feeling a stretch on the top side of the wrist when the fists are down, and a stretch on the bottom of the wrists when fists are up. Feel heat building in the wrist with this exercise. Then bring the wrist back to a neutral, and then move fists from left to right, in and out, in and out, aiming to stretch the long side of the wrist. Now, connecting all 4 of those movements, Move both fists in a circle towards each other 10 times. And away from each other 10 times. We're almost done with the arms. We just have to do the hands. Spread the hands wide in front of you. Bring both pointer fingers to the same side thumb. Then, stack all fingers on top of the pointer fingers and open the hands wide. Then, bring pinkies to thumb and stack all fingers on top of the pinkies. Open wide again. Pointer fingers come to thumbs and stack. Open. Pinkies to thumbs and stack. Open. Pointers and stack. Open. Pinkies and stack. Open. Continue with this movement, smoothing it out. Imagine all the bones in your hands and fingers spreading, and opening, and having more space between them. And finally, lift the arms up as high as they'll go above the head. Open and close the hands quickly for at least 10 times. This is the last movement in the arm sequence. Now relax the arms by your side and notice how you feel. Next, we will work with the spine. Stand up tall, with shoulders broad, and crown of head reaching up towards the sky. Inhale, puff the chest out and rotate the shoulders back, moving the spine through an arching motion. Then exhale to round the back, point the hands forward in front of you. Spread the shoulder blades around the rib cage. Move through this standing cat-cow again, arching the back, pressing the chest forward. And then rounding the back, feeling the back of the rib cage stretch and open. Continue moving through this spinal movement of arching and rounding, using the movement of your arms to assist, but letting intention and energy flow through the spine. Pairing this breath with movement is very powerful. It can help to strengthen muscles of respiration and allow for more ease of breathing. Now bring your arms by your side. Keeping your feet grounded, exhale and rotate the body to the right, looking over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center and exhale, rotating towards the left, looking over the left shoulder. And continue rotating from left to right, taking it slow or adding a little bit more speed, so that arms hanging loosely by your sides may gently knock the front and back of the body. As you start to move with more momentum. These twists are a cleansing movement, so make sure to really breathe here and put a little oomph into the twist. Continue twisting and breathing. Then start to slow the movement, coming back to the starting position. Now, two hands make a fist at the chest, elbows wide. Inhale, start to pull the left elbow back, and exhale, the elbow makes a circle forward as the right elbow then starts to pull back. Circling that elbow forward, leading into the left again. This is a figure 8 for your thoracic vertebra. Allowing the movements of the spine to open up, and for the structures to start communicating. Continue with these figure 8s about 4 more times, and then reset to the other side. Finding your neutral position with fists at the chest, pull the right elbow back and start to make a circle in the forward direction. Then continue that circle to the left side, pulling left elbow back and circling up and forward. Continue this figure 8 motion with the breath, inhaling and exhaling at a pace that feels comfortable for you. Let this movement and the breath bring life into the spine and rib cage. Release arms down by your side and take a few breaths to notice how you feel. Now we will move on to the hips. Put a slight bend in your knees. This will allow for freer movement of the pelvis. For what we are doing next, imagine the pelvis as a bowl filled with water. Start by spilling water out the front of the pelvis by tipping the pelvis forward. Then return through neutral and spill water out the back of the pelvis by tipping the pelvis back. Move through neutral, inhaling to tip forward and exhaling to tilt back. Tilt the pelvis just a little farther each time. Imagine that we are trying to completely empty the bowl. Try to isolate only the pelvis as much as you can and not turn this into a big spinal movement. Putting hands on the hip bones helps you to isolate pelvis movement better. And then reset in a neutral position. This time we will spill water out the left and right side. So bend the knees a little bit and lift the left hip up towards the left ribs, dropping the right side of the pelvis down. Then move through center and the left hip drops down and the right hip moves up towards the right ribs. Alternate between left and right sides. It's okay if these movements are small. We are just trying to help the hips move in a more coordinated way and remind the body of all the ways that it can move. Continue tilting the pelvis from left to right, maybe even smoothing out the movement to be more fluid and connected. And of course, don't forget to breathe. And come back to a neutral standing position. Place hands on the low back and press the hips forward as far as you can. Start to move the hips in a big counterclockwise direction circle. Imagine you are in a big jar of peanut butter and you're trying to scrape the edges clean. Breathe as you open the hips in all directions. Use your hands on your hips to help increase sensation and awareness. Then switch directions, moving in a big, juicy hip circle in a clockwise direction. This movement pairs well with nice, deep nasal breaths. Keep the movement slow and controlled, and notice where there are areas of more tension and more ease. Next, for the hips, we will do a figure 8. So, with both feet grounded, pull the left hip back and slowly start to move in a circle forward. As you near the end of the circle, continue moving through a circle on the other side by pulling the right hip back. The right hip continues in a circle forward, then through center to begin again on the left side. Continue moving in a figure 8 direction. If you get lost, come back to center and start again by pulling the left hip back. Nice, smooth, controlled movements. Then, switch directions. Starting from a neutral center, the left hip moves forward this time, tracing a circle backwards, through center, then over to the right side. The right hip moves forward, then back, and around through center. Continue in this direction. If you get lost, come back to center, and remember that this direction starts with the hip moving forward and then back. Continue breathing. We are almost done. Next, we will be moving into our single leg standing movement series. So if you need balance assistance, go ahead and find that wall or chair or whatever you're using to help balance. From a standing position, move all your weight into your left foot and extend the right leg straight out behind you. Point the toes out, away from your body. Then draw the whole leg forward as if stepping over a short fence. The right leg pulls into a 90-90 in front of you, with hip, knee, and ankle all at 90-degree angles. Then extend that leg straight behind you again. Externally rotate from the hip before circling the leg forward, stepping over a small fence, and returning to a 90-90 position, and continue for about 8 more repetitions. Remember to turn the toes out to face away from you before beginning each circle again. This ensures proper rotation of the femur inside the hip socket. Rotation of this ball and socket joint is essential to healthy, pain-free hips. We often don't get enough functional rotation in our hips throughout the day, so this is a great movement practice to keep familiar in the body. Just a few more. Now we will switch directions. Rest the right leg if needed. Now, pull that same leg up in front of you, move the bent leg out to the side, and straighten the leg behind you as the hip rotates in and toes face the ground. Pull the leg back up in front of you, and continue moving again. That knee comes out, the leg straightens behind you, hip comes into internal rotation, and the toes face down behind you. Continue this backward leg circle for 8 more rounds. If it is too difficult to balance, you can reset with 2 feet on the ground before each repetition, rather than standing on one leg the whole time. Coming back to 2 legs, shake out that standing leg if you need to. Then come back to both legs and repeat the same sequence on the other side. This time, move all your weight into your right foot and extend the left leg straight out behind you. Point the toes out, then draw the whole leg forward as if stepping over a short fence. Left leg pulls to a 90-90 position in front of you with hip, knee, and ankle all at a 90-degree angle. Then extend that leg straight behind you again, externally rotating from the hip before drawing the leg forward again, stepping over a small fence, and returning to a bent knee position in front of you. Continue for about 8 more repetitions, remembering to turn the toes out to face away from you before beginning each circle. Continue with smooth, easy breath work. Notice if your balance is better on one side or the other. Now, we will switch directions, giving that left leg a little break if you need to, then pulling that same leg in front of you to a bent knee position. Draw the bent leg out to the side, and slowly straighten the leg behind you as the hip rotates in and toes face the ground. Pull the leg back up in front of you and continue again, moving the knee out, stepping over that imaginary fence, straightening the leg behind you and rotating the toes down. Continue this movement for 8 more repetitions. Remember, you can always return to 2 feet between each repetition to assist with balance. Shake out that standing leg if you need to, and return to a neutral 2-foot stand. Our final hip exercise is a hip figure 8. These are great for both the hips and the knees. Shift weight into the left foot again. Slowly start to draw an imaginary 8 on the ground with your right toes. Feel the femur rotating in and out within the hip socket. Feel some slight movement between the bones that make up the knee. Try not to build momentum and keep the movement slow and controlled. Then switch directions, drawing the imaginary 8 in the opposite direction. You might find it more difficult to draw the 8 in one direction or the other. Notice areas of tension and areas of ease within the movement. Continue for a few more repetitions. Then switch sides, shaking out the left leg if needed. Now shift weight into the right foot. Slowly start to draw an imaginary 8 on the ground with your left toes. Feel the femur rotating in and out within the hip socket. Feel some slight movement between the bones that make up the knee. Try not to build momentum and keep the movement slow and controlled. Then, switch directions, drawing the imaginary 8 in the opposite direction. Notice areas of tension and areas of ease within the movement. Continue for a few more repetitions, and come back to a neutral stand. We are almost done. We will just do some movements for the ankles to finish up. So stand on your left leg one more time and extend the right leg out in front of you. Start to point and flex the ankle, getting the toes involved as much as possible. Flex and squeeze together when you point, and extend and spread apart in dorsiflexion. Go through this movement about 5 more times. Feel heat and energy flowing to the feet. Then, bring the ankle back to a neutral position and start to move the sole of the foot towards the midline and away from the midline. Stay within a range that has maybe some tension, but no pain. Inversion and eversion of the foot. Finally, connecting all 4 of those movements, move the foot in a big circle, letting the toes freely point and flex with the movement. And switch directions, Ankle moving in the opposite circle for about 10 repetitions. Shake out the left leg if you need to, and move to standing on the right leg. Left leg extends out in front of you and begin to point and flex from the ankle joint, letting the toes move along with it, pointing in plantar flexion and extending in dorsiflexion. Feel the bones of the foot and ankle starting to get a little bit more space between them, allowing for more circulatory, nutritious flow. Then come back to a neutral ankle position and invert and evert the foot by bringing the sole of the foot to face midline and away from midline. Do this 10 times. Finally, we move the right ankle in a big circle in one direction, letting the toes move freely as you do so. Then, switching directions for 10 repetitions. Pause and bring both legs back to the ground. We'll end today by standing with both feet firmly grounded. Rotate palms to face forward. Spread the shoulders broadly and reach crown up, up, up. Imagine space between each spinal bone. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, thanking your body for all that it does for you, and thanking yourself for taking the time to take care of you. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you next time.